Hi, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, I'm really happy you stopped by. Today's video is super special, super real, and super close to my heart, because we are talking about something that every English learner has wondered at least once in their life. Ready for it? How to speak English alone at home. Yes, you heard me right. Now, you may be thinking, wait, how can I speak English if I have no one to talk to? I know exactly how you feel. That was my situation too. I was passionate about speaking English. I wanted to sound confident, fluent, and natural. But the biggest problem? I had no one to talk to. I was just a girl in her room, trying to talk to herself and sound like an English speaker. It was weird, awkward, and sometimes even funny. But here's the thing. Speaking English alone at home actually works. And not just a little. It works a lot. If you do it the right way, with the right mindset, you will start thinking in English, dreaming in English, and speaking fluently even before you realize it. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and listen closely, because I'm going to share everything I know. My real techniques, my mistakes, my small wins, all of it. And by the end of this video, you'll feel ready to start your own English journey from the comfort of your own room. Let's dive deep. So, how do you speak English when you're alone? Step 1. You stop waiting for someone to speak with you. Seriously, you don't need a partner. You don't need a native speaker. And you definitely don't need to move to an English-speaking country. What you need is you, just you, your voice, and your willingness to sound silly for a while. That's how I started. I remember one day I stood in front of the mirror and I said, "Hi, my name is Sarah. I like coffee." That was it. That was my big moment. It was short, awkward, and honestly, I laughed at myself right after I said it, but I kept doing it every day. I added a little more. I started describing what I was doing, like, I'm brushing my teeth. I am making tea. I am sitting on the bed. I feel sleepy. I want to watch a movie. Simple, yes, but that's the magic. That's where the confidence grows. Think about it. When you were a baby, you learned your mother tongue by hearing simple sentences over and over again. Not grammar rules, not long vocabulary lists, just simple sentences repeated daily. That's what you have to create for yourself at home. Here's what worked wonders for me. I created an English world inside my room. How? I turned my everyday life into an English class. Let me explain. I started talking to myself all the time, literally all the time. I'd be cooking and say, I'm chopping tomatoes. I love the smell of garlic. I'd look at the window and say, wow, it's cloudy today, maybe it will rain. Or I'd just randomly talk about my day. Today I felt lazy, but now I want to be productive, so I'm recording my English video. You see what I'm doing? I'm turning regular thoughts into English sentences. And trust me, I didn't use difficult words. I didn't care about grammar in the beginning. I just wanted to speak. And that's something I want you to understand deeply. Don't chase perfect grammar. Chase real speaking. You will fix grammar as you go. But if you don't speak, nothing will move forward. One beautiful habit I created is something I call the English thinking walk. Every evening, I'd go on a short walk, just around my house, and talk to myself in English. Not loudly, of course. Sometimes I just whispered. Sometimes I moved my lips without a sound. But I kept forming English sentences in my mind, and it changed everything. I started becoming comfortable with English. It became a friend to me, not a scary subject from school, not something that judges me, just a friend I speak to every day. Now, let's talk about mirror practice, the best free-speaking partner in the world. Your mirror doesn't judge you. It doesn't correct you. It just shows you you, and that's all you need. When you look in the mirror and speak, you become more aware of your body language, your facial expressions, and your tone. That's what real communication is all about. So here's what I used to do. Every night, I'd stand in front of my mirror and speak for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Sometimes I'd talk about my day. Today was boring. I woke up late. I didn't do anything special. But I feel okay. Maybe tomorrow I will do something better. Sometimes I'd talk about dreams. I want to travel to London. I want to speak to foreigners. I want to work in a place where English is important. I believe one day I can do it. This little routine made me confident. Not perfect, just confident. And confidence is more important than perfection. Another technique I want to share is shadowing. Have you heard of it? Shadowing is like copying someone's voice in real time. You take a video, maybe a movie scene or a YouTube interview, and you repeat what they say almost at the same time. You copy their tone, their style, their pauses. It's like being their shadow. This is so powerful because you start sounding like native speakers without even trying too hard. You learn how natural English feels, and once you feel it, you can speak it. I used to shadow my favorite English vloggers. I'd listen to them, pause after every sentence, and say it out loud. Sometimes I'd even record myself and compare. It was fun, and honestly, sometimes hilarious. But it helped me train my tongue, my ears, and my mind to work together. Now, let's talk about one more beautiful method: creating your own English diary. But spoken. Yes, a spoken diary. Every night I'd take my phone, open the voice recorder, and talk for 2 to 3 minutes in English. I'd talk about my day, my feelings, what I ate, what made me smile, what made me sad. I felt lonely today, but I tried to stay positive. I watched a funny video. It made me laugh. I didn't do much, but I'm grateful for this peaceful day. And I never showed it to anyone. It was just for me, my English voice. And over time, I saw how my confidence was growing. Here's a fun idea you can try: pretend phone calls. I used to pretend I was on a phone call with a friend. I'd walk around the room and say things like, "Hey, how are you?" "Oh, really? That's amazing. I watched a movie last night. It was so good. Okay, talk to you later. Bye." It sounds silly, but it's amazing for building fluency. You're practicing real conversation style, the kind that actually happens in life. Now, let's be real. You might feel shy doing all this. You might feel weird talking to yourself, but please remember this: you are not crazy. You are growing. Every big thing starts small. and speaking English at home is the most powerful small habit you can build. No one is watching you. No one is judging you. Use that privacy as your power. Use your alone time to build your voice. And if you ever feel stuck, just repeat this to yourself. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to keep going. Because fluency comes from consistency, not talent. Let me share a personal secret with you. The reason I learned to speak English wasn't because I was smart. It was because I was consistent. Every day, I did something in English, even if it was just 5 sentences. I didn't study grammar books for hours. I didn't memorize 100 words a day. I just spoke again and again. So now, my dear friend, here's what I want you to do after watching this video. Choose one method and start today. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Record your voice. Walk and think in English. Pretend you're calling someone. It doesn't matter what you choose. Just do it. Because your room, your home, your space, it can become your personal English-speaking studio. And don't forget to celebrate your small wins. When you make your first sentence without translating, smile. When you speak for 1 full minute without stopping, dance a little. When you hear yourself sounding natural, say, "Yes, I'm getting better. Oh, and I'm not done yet." There are so many more ways to turn your home into an English-speaking playground. Let me share a bunch of extra tricks I've used, and still use, to keep my practice fresh, fun, and super effective. First up, label your world. Grab some sticky notes and write down the names of everything around you: mirror, door, pillow, laptop, toothbrush. Stick them on each item, and every time you touch it, say the word out loud in English. Door. I open the door. This simple habit builds your vocabulary in context, and before you know it, your brain will instantly recall the English word whenever you see the object. Next, try reading aloud. Pick a short paragraph from a book or an article online and read it out loud. Feel free to exaggerate your expression, play with your tone, even act out the characters. This strengthens your pronunciation muscles and trains your mouth to form English sounds more naturally. If you stumble on a word, slow down, sound it out, and then say the whole sentence again. Consistency here leads to smoother, clearer speech. Now, let's make video summaries. Watch a short clip, maybe a cooking tutorial, a travel vlog, or a TED Talk, and then pause and retell everything you just saw in English using full sentences. The chef added 2 eggs to the bowl, then she whisked them until they were fluffy. This exercise combines listening, comprehension, and speaking, all in one, and it builds the habit of thinking in English. Don't forget to describe pictures. Open Google Images at random, pick a photo, and spend 2 minutes describing every detail. In this picture, I see a woman wearing a red jacket. She is standing under a tree with yellow leaves. It looks like autumn. She's smiling and holding a cup of coffee. The more you do this, the more you become comfortable creating sentences on the spot. One of my favorites is role-playing scenarios. Pretend you're at a job interview, ordering food in a restaurant, or booking a hotel room. Walk around the room. Speak as if there's a real person on the other end. "Hello, I'd like to reserve a double room for 2 nights, please." Then switch roles. "Sure, may I have your name and arrival date?" This builds situational fluency and prepares you for real-world conversations. You can also record many dialogues with yourself. Write a short script, maybe 5 lines each for person A and person B. Then record yourself doing both parts. Focus on varying your voice for each character. Play it back and notice where you can improve your intonation or pacing. It's like having a play date with your own English-speaking self. Feeling adventurous? Try accent exploration. Pick an accent, American, British, Australian, and mimic a native speaker's speech pattern. Watch interviews of that accent, pause, and repeat. Don't aim for perfection. This is about tuning your ear to different rhythms and melodies of English. After a while, you'll find your own natural accent style. Here's a fun one. Create short monologues. Choose any topic, your favorite movie, your dream vacation, a hobby you love, and speak uninterrupted for 1 minute. Don't prepare any notes. Just let your thoughts flow in English. You'll stumble, you'll pause, but that's gold. Those pauses are your next targets for practice. If you like using apps, look for speaking prompt apps. Many give you random questions like, "What would you do if you won $1 million?" Answer them on the spot, record, and replay. It's like speed dating with English topics, and it trains your spontaneity. To push yourself, start a 30-day speaking challenge. Day 1. Introduce yourself in English for 1 minute. Day 2. Describe your breakfast. Day 3. Talk about your favorite childhood memory. By day 30, you'll have spoken for over an hour cumulatively, and that's huge progress. Although you're practicing alone, you can still find online voice communities, voice chat lounges where people practice languages via audio only. Listen, speak, laugh, and learn from real people, but from the comfort of your home. Another secret weapon is an error log. Keep a small notebook or a note on your phone where you jot down mistakes you catch during practice. Maybe you regularly mix up borrow and lend, or you struggle with the th sound. Each week, review your log and consciously practice those trouble spots until they become strengths. To level up your thinking speed, envision an English movie playing in your mind. Picture everyday scenes, walking to the kitchen, making tea, checking your phone, then narrate them in English in real time. This trains you to think in English and reduces the translation step. Music lovers, this one's for you. Sing English songs, then explain the lyrics in your own words. Pick a catchy tune, learn the chorus, then sing it out loud. Afterward, talk about what the song means to you, what emotions it evokes. It's a creative, enjoyable way to practice speaking. If you're the visual mind type, draw a mind map of a topic like my future goals. Branch out into career, travel, hobbies, then speak through each branch, under career. I see myself working as a graphic designer. I enjoy the creative process. The act of organizing your thoughts visually, then verbalizing them, builds both structure and fluency. Want to feel like a real content creator? Make your own mini podcast. Choose a theme, books, movies, cooking tips, and record. Invite imaginary guests, ask yourself questions, share tips. When you listen back, You'll be amazed at how natural your English sounds, and you'll notice exactly where to polish up. Daydreamers, here's a big one. Plan your dream vacation in English. Research a city, say Paris, then speak your itinerary. On day 1, I will visit the Louvre. I want to see the Mona Lisa and the Venus de Milo. Then I'll have croissants for breakfast. The more detail you add, the more vocabulary and structure you practice. You can also write a short script, even just a paragraph, and then put it away and try to reenact it from memory. This bridges writing and speaking and helps you internalize new phrases. Finally, imagine you're a teacher and you need to teach English to an imaginary student. Explain a grammar point, like how to use the present simple out loud. We use the present simple for habits. For example, I eat breakfast every day. See, teaching is one of the highest forms of learning, and this turns you into both student and teacher. All of these extras boil down to one thing: creativity in your solo practice. If you approach your alone time with curiosity and fun, you'll never run out of things to say. Your room becomes your stage, your mirror, your audience. And before we wrap up, I want to share some mindset shifts and progress tracking ideas that will turn your solo speaking practice from a hobby into a habit, and eventually into a lifelong skill. First, let's talk about mindset. The biggest roadblock most learners face isn't pronunciation or vocabulary. It's the voice inside their head that says, "I can't do this," or "I sound silly," or "I'll never be as good as a native speaker." When that voice shows up, I want you to pause and say to yourself, "Thank you for your feedback, but I'm choosing action over doubt." Because every time you push through that little burst of fear, you're rewiring your brain to see progress instead of problems. One powerful trick is to create a pre-speaking ritual. Think of it like a mini pep talk before you hit record or start talking to your mirror. I always do 3 things. I take a deep breath, I smile at myself, even if it's forced at first, and I remind myself of one win from yesterday. It could be as small as, "Yesterday, I spoke for a full minute without translating." That tiny reminder gives me courage for today. Next, you need to measure your progress. When you practice alone, it's easy to feel like you're stuck in a loop of the same mistakes. So I suggest keeping a simple voice log spreadsheet. You can use Google Sheets or even a notebook. Every time you record yourself, whether it's a spoken diary entry, a shadowing exercise, or a mini podcast, note down the date, the length of the recording, and 3 things. One thing you did well, one thing you want to improve, and one new word or phrase you used. Over time, you'll look back and see that the things you want to improve become fewer, and the things you did well grow longer. That's your proof of progress. Now, let's talk about taking your solo talks public, but only when you're ready. Sharing your recordings in a supportive online community, or even just sending audio clips to a close friend, can be a huge confidence booster. You might be terrified at first, but I promise that most people will cheer you on. And hearing supportive feedback can accelerate your growth more than any self-critique ever will. Another deep dive technique I love is question and answer mapping. Here's how it works. On one side of a page, Write down 10 common questions you might be asked in English. What do you do on weekends? What's your biggest dream? Why do you want to learn English? On the other side, write your answers in short bullet points. Then, practice speaking those answers aloud in sequence without looking at your notes. This method trains you to retrieve ideas quickly in English, just like in a real conversation. For a creative twist, try language interchange role play. Instead of playing both roles in English, play one role in English and the other in your native language. For example, pretend you're interviewing yourself. Ask a question in your language, then answer in English. Then swap. Ask in English, answer in your language. This back and forth sharpens your translation skills and builds a bridge between your two language systems, making it easier to switch into English when you need to. Let's touch on advanced shadowing. Once you're comfortable with basic shadowing, start experimenting with speed variation. Choose a short clip and shadow it at normal speed, then at 0.75x speed to focus on pronunciation, then at 1.25x speed to challenge your processing speed. This not only polishes your clarity, but also trains your brain to handle faster, more natural speech patterns. If you love stories, create a story circle for yourself. Pick a simple folktale or children's story in English, something you can find online easily. Read it once, then close the text and retell the entire story in your own words. Then read it again and compare. This builds narrative flow and helps you connect events with cohesive language. Soon, you'll find you can tell your own personal stories of vacations, celebrations, or everyday adventures with the same ease. One thing many learners forget is the power of listening to yourself with purpose. Whenever you play back a recording, don't just focus on pronunciation. Listen for rhythm, stress, and linking, those little details that make speech smooth. Mark moments where you pause too long, where your tone is flat, or where you hesitate. Then choose one tiny thing to work on next time. Maybe it's experimenting with rising intonation at the end of questions, or learning to blend words like native speakers. Going to becomes gonna. Tiny refinements add up. Now, I want to challenge you with an English immersion day right in your home. Pick one day, or even half a day, each week where you speak only English. That means narrating every action. Cooking, I'm adding salt. Texting yourself in English. Thinking in English. Even singing along. It might feel intense, but it's like taking a mini trip to an English-speaking country without leaving your room. You'll come out of it energized and brimming with new phrases. And finally, let's talk about celebration rituals. Every milestone, whether it's your first 5-minute diary, your first successful shadowing at full speed, or your first public audio post, deserves recognition. I treat myself to a little reward, a special coffee, a favorite snack, or a short break to watch an episode of an English series with subtitles. These positive reinforcements build a cycle of motivation that keeps you coming back. So, my dear friend, with all these strategies, creative role plays, advanced shadowing, story circles, immersion days, progress tracking, and celebration rituals, you have more than enough to fill your days, weeks, and months with confident English speaking practice. Remember, The heart of this journey is consistency and kindness toward yourself. Every moment you choose to speak English, you're investing in a future where language is no longer a barrier, but a bridge to new opportunities, friendships, and experiences. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you feel inspired, equipped, and excited to speak English alone at home like never before. If you've tried any of these methods, drop a comment below and let me know which one was your favorite, or which one you're eager to start today. And of course, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive, where we'll showcase some of your stories and answer your top questions on solo English practice.